Session 44, 8th December 2022. Session 44, 8th December 2022. The exegesis of Quran summarized or Quran explained in brief. Quran explained in brief. We are on the verses of 6th and 7th, last verses of Surah Fatiha. Give us the right path, the path of those whom you have rewarded, not the ones who earned your annoyance, that is the Jews, nor those who went astray, that is Christians. Amen. These are verses 6 and 7, and we continue with Surah Yasin. Continue with Surah Yasin. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Abdul Rahman bin Zaid is quoted in Tafsir ibn Kasir. Allah, the exceedingly kind, had forewarned the mankind about this day in all possible, feasible ways that he considered appropriate. Abu Huraira Razilullah Ta'ala reported that the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam once said people would be gathered moving in three classes. The ones who love Allah, the close ones, and those who fear Allah. Two riding one camel. The ones who love Allah, the close ones, and those who fear Allah, two riding one camel. And 4 people would be on one camel, and 10 men on one camel. The remaining people would be converged, gathered by the fire, chasing them. The remaining people would be converged, gathered by the fire, chasing them. Where they'll take the afternoon nap, the fire would also take the afternoon nap. And where they would halt to spend the night, the fire would spend the night with them close to them. Where they would initiate the morning, the fire would also initiate the morning with them. Where they'll have the evening, it will have the evening with them. Muttafika alayh. Muttafika alayh. The third great beagle would mark the order for the punch-drunk, dazed, stupefied mankind to be pushed and chased to the vast area on earth earmarked for it to stand and wait for the ultimate accountability. By the time they are ordered to move, every man would have seen his scrolls. By the time they are ordered to move, every man would have seen his scrolls. All the parts of his body would have disclosed his sins, and finally his heart would have spoken out the real motive of all his deeds. Finally, his heart would have spoken out the real motive of all his deeds. Thus, before he goes to be produced before his master, the king of all the kings, every man would have seen all his deeds, along with irrefutable evidence, along with irrefutable evidence about each and every act provided by 4 to 5 different agencies, both external as also from his organs. Lest the Mukarrabin and the people of the right, lest the Mukarrabin, the elevated, and the people of the right, who would not be chased, the majority of the mankind, that is the people of the left, would be at the run. The majority of the mankind, that is the people of the left, would be at the run when it will also be further bifurcated, when it will also be further bifurcated, subdivided according to the precise commonality of the sins, subdivided according to the precise commonality of the sins, evils committed, misdeeds. Having divided the mankind, having divided the mankind into believers and the disbelievers, the foremost criteria dividing line would be on the basis of resemblances. The foremost criteria dividing line would be on the basis of resemblances. The Prophet ﷺ stated, every man would be raised with the people he resembles. Every man would be raised with the people he resembles in belief, values, in morals, intellectual orientation, appearance, dress, etc., etiquettes, customs, habits, likes and dislikes, and choices, styles, masnad Ahmad. The Prophet ﷺ stated, every man will be raised with the people he resembles, within brackets, in belief, that is, in belief, values, in morals, intellectual orientation, appearance, dress, etc., etiquettes, customs, habits, likes and dislikes, and choices, styles. Masnad Ahmad. Yasin, Surah Yasin 36, verse 53. إن كانت إلا ساعة واحدة فائزهم جميلة دين محجرون. The stage all set, all evidence of his deeds provided to every man, all evidence of his deeds provided to every man, it will be time to move for the decisive phase of accountability. It will be time to move for the decisive phase of accountability, and there'll just be a single blood curdling blast, third great beagle, that is third great beagle, then third great beagle, then forthwith mankind being forced to run, they'll all be arrayed in a system, numbers notwithstanding, they'll all be arrayed in a system, numbers notwithstanding, apprehended to stand before us, apprehended to stand before us, that is Allah. 36 Yasin Surah 54. فَالْيَوْمَ لَتُظْلَمُ نَفْسٌ شَيْئًا وَلَا تُجْزَوْنَ إِلَّا مَا كُنتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. Allah would not be in a hurry to punish the mankind, and it will have to wait for about 300 years, with each day equal to 1,000 solar years. It will have to wait for about 300 years, with each day equal to 1,000 solar years. And then that day it will be a highly veracious, principled, absolutely honest, and a very precise and accurate judgment of every man's performance. Not a single soul would suffer the least injustice. This verse states, Not a single soul would suffer the least injustice, and you will be punished or rewarded only for the deeds you enacted. وَلَا تَجْزَوْنَ إِلَّا مَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. Only for the deeds you enacted. Allah's mercy may be gauged from the fact that the pious people, those making for the heaven decisively, would feel as though they had just waited a morning or perhaps an evening. It will mark the initial recompense, reward for their abstinence and patience and perseverance. Contrariwise, the majority with enormities, serious crimes, contrariwise, the majority with enormities, serious crimes, would be having such a torturous time that having had a look at the hell, yet they would wish and pray that this waiting may be shortened, and they permitted to go to hell. Contrariwise, the majority with enormous serious crimes would be having such a torturous time that having had a look at the hell, yet they would wish and pray that this waiting may be shortened, and they permitted to go to hell. Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu stated that the Prophet ﷺ said on the doomsday, while awaiting Allah's judgment, people would sweat to an extent that their sweat would seep 70 meters deep into the earth, and it will engulf them to an extent that they'll be drenched in it till their mouths and ears, that they'll be drenched in it till their mouths and ears. Muttafika alayh, Mishkat. Anas Razulullah Ta'ala anhu stated that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, people would be impaired on the doomsday period of waiting for Allah's attention to an extent that they'll begin worrying. They'll begin worrying about it. They'll decide to ask someone who could beseech Allah to relieve this terrible worry and agony. All the people will come to Adam and say, "You, Adam, are the father of the people. Allah has created you with His own hands, placed you in this heaven, taught you the names of everything, made His angels prostrate before you. Please recommend, plead with your Rabb that He should relieve us of this agony." He'll say, "I number that I am not happily placed to do so," and would recount his fault of having eaten from the forbidden tree. However, he'll say, "You should go to Prophet Nuh now. He is the first prophet sent by Allah to the people of the earth." All the people would come to Prophet Nuh now. He would say, "I don't perceive I have that right. I have that high perch with Allah to do so," and would recount his error of having unknowingly asked an inappropriate question from Allah. He'll say, "However, you should go to Prophet Ibrahim, the friend of the merciful." They'll go to Prophet Ibrahim. He will say, "I do not have this right," and will recollect his three half truths. However, you go to the Prophet Moses. He is such a man that Allah gave him Torah, spoke to him, and came close to whisper in his ears. They'll then come to the Prophet Moses. He'll say, I am like a persona non grata. I am like a persona non grata. He'll recount his episode of the murder of a Qutbi. He'll say, however, you go to Prophet Isa, Jesus. He is the man of Allah, his messenger, and his soul and word. People would go to Prophet Isa, Jesus. He will tell them, I'm not privileged to do so. He'll say, I'm not privileged to do so. However, you go to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is the only man that all his infirmities of the past and the future have already been forgiven by Allah. He is the only man that that all his prophets of the past and the future have already been forgiven by Allah. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Anas Rasulullah Ta'ala anhu continued to narrate that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, all the people would finally come to me. I'll then come to Allah and seek His permission to enter His house. I'll be permitted to enter. When the moment I see Him, I'll fall in prostration. Allah will allow me to remain prostrated till as long as He pleases. Then He'll say, O Muhammad, peace be upon him, raise your head and speak. You'll be listened to and recommend salvation. Your recommendation, intercession would be accepted, and ask, it will be granted. The Prophet said, I lift up my head and say, special encomiums, praises, and appreciations of my Rabb, which He would have taught me Himself. Then I'll recommend salvation. A maximum limit would be fixed, granted for me. I'll come out and exhume, salvage, then bring them out of the fire and make them enter the heaven. We'll continue with this episode, with this events, inshallah, tomorrow, Allah be willing. Please pray for me, ex-brigadier Mustansar Billah.